The Private Label Pod with your host Paul Mooney, brought to you by Private Label People.
You just listen and leave the rest up to us.
Welcome to the Private Label Pod, episode 7. I'm Paul Mooney. Today we were joined by our valued member Noel Murray, who took us through his private label journey. I hope you enjoy.
Get involved, have your say, ask us a question or leave us a voice message by heading on over to privatelabelpeople.com/podcast.
Noel, how are you?
I'm really good, Paul. Hello everyone, good to be here. How are you?
Doing okay, yes. Yeah, it's been a busy day, but a good day, very productive, which I know you're a very productive person yourself. I just wanted to really begin with how your private label journey began. Where did it start for you?
For want of a better word, during COVID, government job had been there for nearly 20 years, and I had done some other jobs in sort of the same time, delivery drivers, and worked actually for Amazon Flex. Found it, like everybody, more and more time spent at home, couldn't do anything else, and decided to really actually go after online businesses and how to make money online. Like a lot of people probably Googled, probably one of the most Googled terms, how to make money online.
Yep.
And came across a program, thought it looked interesting, joined, and I would say over the next 5 months went through the process of learning how to sell. First of all, I suppose what to look for, what to sell. Did a bit of research, found a product that I thought worked in the States, and went through the processes then of ordering, getting it shipped from China and getting it into sale probably about 6 months later.
Okay. And very early on in that signing up period to the program, was it something you felt that you could really get your teeth into and make a living from, or did you think it was going to be a passive income, sort of a part-time thing, or is it?
Initially, probably part-time. I thought it would probably take myself a while just to get into it. I knew that you would have to have a lot of products in there to make it a living, that you could just, go all in. Mm-hmm. But I was excited to get started. And when you find a product that you believe would work, and then you get it in the Amazon in the States, and I think I'm right in saying I sold my first item within a week of it being live, maybe actually a couple of days of it being live. Wow. And whether it was just pure luck, I got in at the right time of the year, it took off. It sold pretty well at sort of October, November time. Mm-hmm. Things after the new year sort of eased off, and it maybe got into more of a more natural selling pattern. But things initially went pretty well with the item, and so I reordered quite quickly. Maybe too many, but that's another story. But things were good. It was exciting. You sort of thought to yourself, I can do this. I found one thing that gets in, it works, it sells. It had a good profit margin. It was making money. The reorder went through. So yeah, it was all looking good. It was all good excitement. Yeah,
and it's always great when you get that little bit of, you say it might have been a little bit of luck, maybe it wasn't, maybe it was great foresight, or it was hard work or whatever else, but to get that first sale on the board and give you that confidence. But what would you look back at now and say, okay, well, I made a few errors, there was a few mistakes, and early doors you've just mentioned about reordering, was that the big thing?
The reorder was excitement got the better of me. And I ordered too many of the product. But that's, looking back in hindsight, you learn these things. Something actually we're looking at now, definitely with products that I have and are needing reordered. Now not to make the same mistake, to look at the numbers, to look at the data, and know exactly what you should be reordering. So you don't find yourself in the position that I did, whereas I had too much stock. But, that's... Again, if it still sells, or if you can work on it and you can have the product selling, it's a problem, but it's a problem you can solve.
Yep. Yep, absolutely. And it's now 2023, obviously, nearly 24. But going back, you started during COVID, and you're now not working in that government job anymore. You're now doing this full time. Looking back, you've obviously been successful. You've done well, and you act as a living, breathing example of how to do that, which will give the listeners some confidence. Is it something that you feel a lot more freedom doing now, being able to work for yourself and to not have to do the 9 to 5 or the other anymore.
Absolutely. And I don't do a 9 to 5. I probably do a 5 to 9.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But you know what? When you work for yourself, somebody said to me once, I'd done 20 years in a government job, and without being disrespectful, what have you got out of it other than your pension? You know, you've been working for somebody else or something else, and what have you grown? And actually, that's the bit that always sticks in the back of my head is, I love what I do now. I probably work harder than because it's something that I'm growing for both me and my family.
Yep.
But I enjoy the work. I mean, I could easily put the laptop on or jump on a call or whatever at any time of the day, because I enjoy what I do, which I think it has to be a big thing of why you do something.
Yeah.
And obviously, I get to see people here in the office every day, and we have a bit of crack, which is what drives it on as well, because without the crack, it just becomes another job.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The job that you had before this, I know, was quite a serious job, but this one, obviously, making money and making a living serious as well. But how's it looking now? How's the business looking in terms of right now, and what are your goals for 2024? What would you hope to achieve in 24?
Yeah, it's on a really good trajectory at the minute. We have some new products have come in. We have done a lot of hard work on getting those working well, following the data, doing the things that we should be doing, doing the reporting. As we all know, the streams are there. It's 15 minutes every 2 weeks. And it really, when you get into it, it is 15, maybe 30 minutes max, depending on the products you've got. But, doing those drop files, looking at the reports, it helps a lot. And actually, we've talked about it a lot as well. Not doing the things not doing the things that you shouldn't be doing. So stop moving prices, tinkering with your listings, adding in words, taking out words. Let the thing breathe. Let it do what it's supposed to. And as we were talking about earlier, it's got to the point now where we have worldwide probably 2 or 3 products that are really kicking on, and we're doing a lot of replenishments, but we're also having to look at the reorders. And the difference for me is I know now what to reorder. Looking at the numbers properly, okay, I need to get this amount in, but I don't need to order too many because I can reorder again if needs be. But those things are all, you learn these things as you go along.
Yeah. You can actually hear the confidence in your voice in regards to where you are now with the business compared to back then, and that just comes with experience, doesn't it? But you've obviously got other people in the office with experience. You've Robert and Ali and Mickey, Stephen and Emily over in the States as well, providing that backup too. So it must be great for someone like you who's still doing private label. Obviously, you're a private label people member, but you're also working away and helping give your experience to our other members. So yeah, how important are those guys in the team?
They are exactly what I need, because they all have different skills. They've all got different levels of expertise. So should it be a numbers thing? Should it be a listing thing? You might go to Robert and ask him for a numbers thing, and I don't want to big him up too much, but I have never known anybody with spreadsheets like it. Like, I used to use them in the government job. Yeah. Well, I used them. I didn't know how to work them, but that's sort of improving as well. So for him to be there for numbers, if it's Ali with listings, Mickey with logistics, and the same with Emily and Stephen in the States with their product knowledge and research. Because we hear it all the time. If you're an Amazon seller, it's a lonely business. Yeah. When I started sitting at home, the program taught me what I needed to know, but you were on your own. And that's probably what started off the journey really for me, was getting involved and asking questions, because people sit there and they don't ask the questions. And if you don't ask the questions, you're never going to get the answers. You're never going to move forward. And that's one of the messages I would always say to people is, ask the question.
Yeah.
Get in touch. People aren't going to bite your head off. I know with private label people, that's one of the great things about it, is it's trying to promote that. Don't sit there in silence. Really do get in touch, because there are people here that will help you.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, look, I think it's excellent to have you in and get chatting with you, because there's a lot of people will be listening that they dream of being where you are now, and they can't wait to get there. But as you said, it takes a little bit of patience too, and not fiddling with things like PPC and getting overly excited. But yeah, you've experienced now to be able to say that, and as I say, you're a living, breathing example of doing it the right way now.
Thank goodness. No, it does, and you can bring out all the cliches as well. It's a marathon, not a sprint, but those things are true, and things just have a real funny way of working out when you stay the course, you do what's asked of you. You start to see results. And I remember back in the day, you used to check your Amazon app just to make sure you had made a sale. And you were sort of bummed if you hadn't made a sale for a day here or a day there. Maybe you got 2 days where you didn't make a sale, and it's like the world was ending. Yeah. But then all of a sudden, 6 months down the line, when you've done the right things, you've kept in stock, you've replanned when you've had to, you don't even think about that anymore. I know people say don't do it because it's mental torture. It's just natural. It's humanity, but you get this stage now where you don't check it for the same reason. You check it now to see how many sales you've made.
Yeah.
So it's, have I made $100 worth, $500 worth, $1,000 worth? And recently we had our biggest day ever, which was £2,500.
Fantastic.
And you couldn't put the app away because you were just waiting to see how big that one would grow. But that's maybe a sense of, I'm going to say, relief.
Yeah.
It's daft to say that.
Yeah.
You've done $2.5 grand in a day, and how many people do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
And what businesses can you do it? Well, you don't actually physically have to lift anything. But yeah, it's
I actually remember you coming in on a Friday. I think it was you'd been doing a little bit of a job on a Thursday. I think it was the election polling here, and I remember you coming in on the Friday, and you hadn't been able to really look at your phone all day because you'd been at I think they have the elections where you're able to poll here in a polling centre, so you'd been doing a little bit of that. But you looked at your phone, I think, that night when you went home, and you couldn't believe you'd had quite a great day while standing there not knowing.
I think that was at that point the record day for the account. Yeah, and it is that case because you're right. Yeah, it was the first time I'd ever done polling clerk. I blame my wife for that. She's done it for 20 years and said, "Get yourself enrolled in this." It's like, okay. So I was there for the day from 6 in the morning when polls open until like 11 o'clock at night. Yeah, and where I was just happened to have no signal, and you weren't really allowed your phone out anyway. So I never got the check. Yeah, but that night it was pretty cool. When I did get home, I thought, I'll put it on here and see if I've made any sales today, and it was a record day. It was good.
Brilliant. Well, you've I don't know who got elected that day, but now you've been elected the full-time private label people member and elected to this podcast. So thank you very much for joining us, Noel. I appreciate it.
Not a problem at all. I'm always happy to help. And I know I spoke to a lot of guys out there already. And if anybody ever needs to chat or ask anything, hit me up. There's no problem.
Get involved, have your say, ask us a question, or leave us a voice message by heading on over to privatelabelpeople.com/podcast.
Thank you to Noel. It was great to have him on, going through his journey as a private label seller. I'm sure he said lots of things there that you can relate to. Hopefully we will have him on again in a few weeks' time. But again, thank you for now, and we'll see you soon.